What's up, everybody? Stefan Martinez, Nicholas Gambaro. Lots to get into today. Trouble in Dallas between Luka Doncic and the front office. Islanders win another impressive win on the road. The NBA's competition committee is looking at a way to decrease the fouls that are given to star players who are trying to shoot in an upward motion to draw and ones, as to draw um, foul shots from awkward positions. That was reported by Adrian Wojnarowski, aka Woj of ESPN, earlier today. Um, Lots to get into, man. But I'd be remiss if I didn't start with what happened on Saturday. In the Euros with I forgot the gentleman's name.
Christian Eriksen
Yes,
of Denmark.
yes. So we'd be remiss if we didn't start by sending out our well wishes, our prayers, our sincerest thoughts of on his recovery, because that looks scary. Big Dog, you saw it live, and you asked me if I had heard, and I wasn't by my phone. And when I had saw the clip on YouTube and on Twitter, I was like, "Wow, did he, you know, what happened here?" And then you saw the clip, and you're like, "Oh my God, he just fell. Nobody hit him. Nobody did anything." So that was a weird way to start off the tournament. You were really excited about this thing. Now you still could be because, you know, let's face it, it's soccer, and you're just obsessed with the sport. But that had to put a little damper on the good feeling that you had going into this thing.
Yeah, and he was just going to take a throw in, and then, like you said, out of nowhere, he just suddenly collapsed. Nobody hit him. They even did like instant replay to like 90 seconds before he collapsed, like just to see if he made contact with somebody. He didn't. So it was, and we found out later from reporting by journalists covering the Euros that it was cardiac arrest. But thank God, knock on wood, he's doing better now. He spoke to his teammates. He's in good spirits. He's joking around. He was stable. He was awake, which was a relief to everybody because it was extremely concerning to see and watch. And then there was a lot of controversy because they suspended the match, and then UEFA gave them a choice to either start it later in the day, to start it the next day at 12 p.m. or noon, or to forfeit and lose automatically 3-0. And the Danish and Finnish football association or soccer associations had to decide. So UEFA left it up to the governing bodies. Let's go on, Dougie. Big win yesterday.
We're gonna get to them in a second, but I figure it was appropriate we start with this because this seems like some some
It
very
was big.
stuff. So.
And, it was just a scary sight. And then it took them a while to stretcher him off the field. And the fans waited, were waiting to hear the news. And, it was just cool how both fan bases came together. Like one side of the stadium was chanting his first name. The other side of the stadium was chanting his last name. And, but I mean, that's really been the biggest thing. Was the decision right? Should UEFA have not even let Denmark or Finland decide? Should UEFA have just came down with a decision themselves? So there was a bit of mixed emotions. Like, would Denmark have been ready to play the next day at noon? I don't think it would have really made a big difference, when we don't really know. But you can tell as the players came back on the field, they were warming up. They were in tears, wiping their eyes. Their faces were red from just the crying and the emotion. So But thank God he's doing better now. We hope that he continues to get better, and because it was frightening to see. And he's one of the good guys in the sport. So
how do you play a game after that? Okay, like how do you get your mind to wrap around and say, "Hey, I gotta go play a game. I gotta go do my job after I literally watched one of my teammates pretty much die on the field." Now, granted, they brought him back because cardiac arrest.
Yeah, they resuscitated him.
Pretty much means, we don't think the worst, but that puts into perspective. Like playing a soccer game feels very minute in that moment. It feels like it's almost trivial. And yes, we're here to talk about sports, and yes, we're here to analyze all this, but in the moment, I don't know if I could have summoned the strength to play a game myself either.
Yeah, that would have been very difficult. And I'm sure it was for them. And they ended up losing actually 1-0. But the Finland player who scored had class and, chose not to celebrate. That was actually their first goal scored ever in a major tournament. But out of respect for Denmark and Christian Eriksen, they chose not to celebrate, which was right. So,
yeah, because like I said, I mean,
their players were emotional too. It was just emotional for everybody. And
at that point, you can kind of sit here and say, okay, we want to do the right thing, and we want to make sure we want to, play the game for the integrity of the sport. But at the same time, you're kind of like, does this make sense for us? Like, do we really want to do that? Like, I don't think this is a good idea. And, you get the sense that, both teams did the right thing. Both teams did the right thing. And you got to applaud the Danish for finishing the game. Because they could have easily said, you know what, we're not in the right frame of mind. We're going to forfeit. But they went out there and played. Now, was that a decision that I would have made? I don't know.
When they were on FaceTime with Christian Eriksen, he did tell them, like, I want you guys to finish up the game and go out there and play.
There you go. Well, then, there you go. But I don't know, from my human mind, playing feels really, really irrelevant right now. Like, in that moment, I'd have been like, yeah.
No, absolutely.
But that just, wow. That feels really, really, that felt really like emotional and really like, bro, this is serious. And his wife, the image of his wife crying on the side, I just glad he's doing better. Glad he's okay, and glad we're gonna talk soccer later on in the show. But I figure we start with that because that seemed to touch the entire sports world this weekend. So we would have been remiss if we didn't mention Christian Eriksen. So get well, and
yes,
hopefully we'll see you back on the pitch again soon, or if not, commentating or doing whatever.
Yeah, because that's another decision too, that he'll have to, because that's experience just had to be kind of life-changing. And
it's almost like what happened to LaMarcus Aldridge. Now, he didn't die. He didn't go through cardiac arrest, but he was having shortness of breath while on the court running. He's like, man, something don't feel right. And he got checked out, and he was done. He was done in a matter of a week. He knew he was done. So heart issues are very serious, and you kind of want to know, okay, if this is it, I've left it all out on the field.
Absolutely.
Now on to the fun stuff. Well, fun for this guy. The Islanders went on the road into Tampa, which has been a house of horrors for them in the playoffs the last couple of years, and got a much-needed win. Now, Big Dog was telling me he almost died with a minute 45 to go with a penalty that he felt was incorrectly called. Now, Do I send some bias in that comment? Yeah, maybe a little bit, but
Nah, but at least I didn't pull a Bruce Cassidy. I was like, all right, what, got accepted and move on and just kill this power play, which, although we didn't, we gave up a goal, but hey, we won. That's all really matters in the end.
that's the title of the episode. When this is when it matters. So hey,
absolutely.
well, words there.
And just what a win. Again, it is only one game in the series, but I thought it was massive for them to get that first one, especially down in Tampa. And they just played well. Yes, they played great. Varlamov was outstanding.
Right.
Another great defensive game. Barzal scores again. He scored now in 4 of his last 5 games. Ryan Pulock with a blast. So when Barzy's hot, that's a good sign for the Islanders and bad for whoever is playing us. And it's crazy how Barzal, the first 8 playoff games, he didn't score a goal, and then now all of a sudden he's scoring almost every game. It's very impressive to see, and just the whole team, there's just demeanor about them and a swagger. Not that they're not in a show-offy type of way, but they're just very confident in themselves that, they don't let the moment get to them. They just do what they have to do their business, do their thing on the ice, and then go on to the next game.
Right.
And that's it.
Right.
They don't try and overcomplicate things. They didn't commit too many penalties yesterday, which is good. You definitely against Tampa don't want to commit that many penalties. Mm-hmm. That's a big thing to stay out of the penalty box against this team.
Right. And I think that comes with also playoff experience too. I think the sting of them losing in the conference finals last year, of it not feeling like they had some unfinished business.
Yes.
This is what you get when you got a team that knows, hey, we got some unfinished business. We got here last year. We were in this very same position, but we didn't close it out. Now we want to close it out. Now we want to make sure that people know, hey, we're not just here to play and go through the motions. We're here to try and win a cup, and you have to respect the fact that, look, to a man, they said at the beginning of the season, they thought about last off season a lot. It bothered them. It irritated them.
Barry said he'll think about it on his deathbed.
Right. And that is the type of thing that will motivate a team and go, man, we gave that away, man. We gave that away. We didn't play with the sense of urgency. We didn't play with the sense of appreciating the moment. And right now, and look, for everybody that's going to say this, because I know this is going to come up eventually, Big Dog, you didn't say it, so I will. For anybody that says, oh, it's meaningless, it's a 55 games, 56 game season, they didn't go through the grind, it shouldn't count. That sucks, because I've always felt like playing in a pandemic, in the middle of a pandemic, when you got to go through testing every day and you got to be away from your family for long stretches of time, and that's harder than playing in a regular season.
And you're playing the same exact teams in your division.
Right.
Constantly, and especially the Eastern Division was just a war in itself every game. Right. Physically and mentally. And, they still had the regular playoffs, with still 3 rounds and then the Stanley Cup.
Nah, just because I know that's coming eventually.
Yeah. If
we
win or if we get to the final, people hate the Islanders are going to say, oh, it's not right. That doesn't count. It's a COVID year.
You guys don't deserve
that's
it.
What makes it should count. Playing in a pandemic, playing in these type of circumstances.
Right.
It's harder.
No, I agree.
You're playing in a condensed schedule where you're playing every other night sometimes, and they're trying to get the season done before the Summer Olympics starts. It's a lot. Like the Islanders in this series are playing, or basically every series pretty much have been playing every other night.
Right. I mean, I can't just summarily dismiss that, oh, it's going to be easy. Oh, it doesn't matter. It matters. It matters because if there was no season, then they would have said, but there was no season. There was a season. You had to make the playoffs in order to get to this opportunity. And it wasn't like they gave a million teams a chance to get in. Nah, this was standard.
Yeah, regular. Yep.
There wasn't a 20-team format, 24-team form. This, you had to earn it to get here. So this feels more special than, I think, the one in the bubble. Now, that's not dismissing the one in the bubble, but you let everybody and their mother in there last year. So that one probably didn't feel as special, where this one feels kind of like, yeah, we had to earn this one.
Right. It feels like last year was fun. It was a great run. But just this year, there's a different feeling about it. And it's a lot of fun. And the fan aspect is a big part. Let's go Islanders and Jets, Skip. Like just that the Islander fans and fans of all teams could go to their arenas and enjoy their teams playing again.
Right.
And for the Islander fans who have been waiting for this for 37 years now.
Right.
Again, we're not there yet, but it's just, like we've been waiting for this for a long time and to get here. And hopefully we do.
Them not lately. I'm done with them. I don't think
not the Yankees.
I don't think I'm watching another game the rest of the year.
But hopefully we get. I mean, it's just great.
And you should revel in it. Revel in it because listen, where you came from, you got to remember a lot of these kids came from their minor league system. They had to develop a lot of these kids, and
yeah,
of the labor of paying off. Say what you want about Garth Snow, but he drafted a lot of these guys.
The Bailey contract actually looks like it's paying off right now.
Yeah, and that was
he's having one hell of a playoff, not for nothing.
Yeah, it was his last kicking you know where. And look, Bailey's producing now, so Garth Snow's probably on the beach sipping pina colada somewhere going, I don't look too bad now, don't I?
Yeah.
Way to go there, God.
Bailey's having a year. JG and Palmieri, the Long Island native, since the trade by Louis Lambs, as we call him. John Ledecky, by the way, yesterday at the in Tampa, sitting he was near the press box, but he was with the high-fiving all the fans and chanting yes, yes, yes with them after we scored, and it's beautiful. But it just be just seeing too it when we win after just the fan reactions from whether it's a restaurant or a bar or the Coliseum parking lot or it's just been fun.
No, yeah, you because look, when you haven't won a cup since the 80s and you hadn't made a run like this in a long time, revel in the fact of how hard this is.
Yeah.
Revel in that fact of, this is really difficult. And if anybody can do it, it's them. And
right. And
they deserve to. Juan, what's up, bro?
What's up?
They deserve to have the moment in the sun where you're just like, hey, man, I want to just enjoy this. I want to enjoy this moment.
Right. And you mentioned it, too, that a lot of these guys have been, in the minors, like the Sorokins or Wallstroms, Dobsons, etc. And
appreciate that, Juan. Appreciate the love, brother.
Thank you. And, a lot of these guys, the fourth line has been together a long time. Bailey's been an Islander since 2008. And I could go on. A lot of guys have been together through it. And to your point, they've now gotten a lot of experience from 2013 to now. And you've seen how they've grown each year that they made the playoffs. Mm-hmm. So, And Barry, the work that Barry's doing too is big, and his philosophy.
Thank you, man. Thank you. I appreciate that. Nah, it's just it
Tomorrow, Skip, at 8 p.m.
tomorrow. Okay. Nah, it feels good when the fan base realizes how big this is, not only for the players in the organization, but them themselves. Like, and they realize, man, people are gonna start talking about it. It's like you always lament the fact that, oh, we don't get talked about enough, or they don't show us enough love, or they don't appreciate us. And I've always told you, if you win, they'll start to appreciate you. If you win, you'll see free agents around the league going, hold up, I think I want to go there. Because it has a vibe of we're winning, we're doing it together, we're doing it as a unit. And look, something about sports is when you win and you win a lot, people tend to take notice of that. That's why you had veterans going to the Golden State Warriors when Kevin Durant and Curry and Thompson were there, because they realized, man, if I join up with this big three, I could win a championship. Or you had Mike Miller and Ray Allen going to Miami to go play with LeBron and the crew. And that's what these players now realize. Now, in hockey, it's a little bit different, but you'll get to see guys that are like, hold up, I want to get back to that feeling of always being in it, always being in the mix, always being.
Yes, it's fun.
Yeah, and that's when you'll start to get recognition. And that's why I say don't stress it, man. Just keep winning, because eventually people are going to take notice and they're going to go, well, damn, these guys are actually not, they're fun to watch. They don't play boring hockey, as people have put it. Because to me, when you win, it's not boring. That's the name of the game, is to win. How you do it, that's a matter of personal preference.
And we've scored the most goals in the playoffs out of any team so far.
Right.
So I don't know how that could be boring, but all right.
No, but I know a lot of people have had that sentiment of,
oh, right, because we chip and chase a lot, or we play very defensive. It's not really a stylish type of game, which, I'm fine with.
I was. And here's the thing about that, while we're talking about coaches, because I think Barry Trotz deserves.
And he didn't even get a Jack Adams nomination, which, whatever, but not one Islander player or Barry Trotz didn't get a nomination for any award this year, which.
Wow, that's incredible. But no, I was wrong about Tibbs one. You're right. And I think the key for me was, I always thought Thibodeau was good with veterans. I didn't see him coming in with a bunch of young guys and taking a reclamation project and doing what he did. Now, you did see in the playoffs, though, he did get exposed by not going the roles quicker, by not syncing up the rotations a little bit faster. So there's some things he has to work on too, as well as the rest of the roster. But I was wrong on Tibbs. You're right. And here's the thing. When you see how galvanized the group was to play for him, that just makes you go, okay, they know they made the right choice. And here's the other thing. Just like the Islanders, I'm going to make this Nick point, and we'll go back to the Islanders, but Lou Lamoriello and Barry Trotz are locked in together. They have a very tight and close-knit relationship, where Tom Thibodeau, World Wide West, Scott Perry, they're very close to each other. So when you know Leon Rose and everybody's tight-knit and they talk to each other, and there's a relationship and there's a genuine friendship and there's a genuine kinship of, hey, man, I want to resurrect this franchise and I want to bring them back to prominence. And that's what Lou Lamoriello has done in his, I can't believe it's going to be 4 years this summer, which is mind-blowing.
Right, if you count 2018, right?
Wow.
Well, 19 would make a year 2021. But I know what you mean.
But that's incredible though. How his vision started. He was the villain because he let Tavares go, and now look at where you're at.
Right, and there was a clip I was listening to from a Maple Leafs, a media person up in Toronto, and they're like, it's so hard watching the Islanders have this success, like, because they let Lou go, and now look at what he's doing with the Islanders. But even this person said, though, but I love Dubas, he's doing good things, which it might be on something, maybe a little smokage, I don't know, but
we'll table that for another time.
Oh yeah, I'm not getting into that because we spoke about it at nauseum plenty of times before. But if you're a Maple Leaf fan and you really believe Dubas is doing good, I don't know.
See, well, that's when you got to come and give me a different connotation for what's your expectations of good. Because if you're telling me that you think they're a cup contender, then I'm going to tell you then, well, we disagree. I digress. But I think the thing that we need to look at with this Islander team is it's a unit. It's the same thing we saw with the Knicks this year. Sports is a unity thing. And when you have a unit that plays for each other, that plays together, that doesn't want to make it all about them, that's when you know you got a good team. Like, I'm going to tell you the truth. The Phoenix Suns, you know why the Phoenix Suns are going to the NBA Finals? Because as a collective unit, there's nobody in the Western Conference that could beat them. Is there a better team? Sure. Are the Clippers or Utah better? I can make the argument, but when you see how Phoenix is locked in on a nightly basis, and by the way, they swept Denver, took the last 2 games in Denver, and was like, "Hey, yo, just hold this." And for me, just because I love the old grudge match, I want to see Chris Paul face the Clippers, face Lawrence Frank, face that entire front office. Now, the roster's completely different. The roster is different, but the front office is the same. And I kind of want him to throw it all in their faces and go, you told the world I was done. You traded me to OKC for a bag of balls, and you sent me to Siberia to die. So here's what I'm going to do to you. I'm going to take your season. I'm going to destroy it. Kawhi's going to leave you for nothing because you don't deserve a star like that. Paul George, you're going to be stuck holding his contract. Oh, and by the way, you shouldn't have gave me up, you stupid, stupid, stupid men. Like, I kind of want Chris Paul to take a crap all over the Clipper logo and go, this is what you get for telling the world I was done. Good for you, Chris Paul. He is the best leader in the NBA. And that's why I don't know if they beat Brooklyn. Now, Brooklyn's situation just got a whole lot more interesting with Kyrie Irving turning his ankle yesterday. That looked bad. He's
missing Game 5, I heard.
He's not playing Game 5. James Harden not playing in Game 5. Uh-oh. Man, it could get real here in a minute. Because if Milwaukee goes into Brooklyn and wins,
then that might be not good.
If you're a Brooklyn Nets fan, your worst fears are now being realized. That
we know you're grinning on the inside.
I mean, you don't want to see nobody get injured.
Oh, no, of course not. The possibility of them being eliminated makes you smile.
No, I would have enjoyed it more if they were at full strength, because at least I could have rubbed it in and said, you needed all these 3 dudes to win, and now look at you. You're all bums, all of you. But I can't do that till next year because they're not at full strength. But the Kyrie thing is concerning because this is not the first time he's dealt with injuries. It's not the first time he's dealt with anything like this. See, here's the thing. You play more TLC, then you got a problem guarding Drew Holiday, because Drew Holiday is no joke. And I'll say this. Milwaukee, the Islanders, Phoenix. Like, you have your Giannis's, you have your Barzals, you have your Chris Pauls. But you know what you have? You got players all over the floor and ice that play so damn hard. You almost are like, yeah, I don't want to play them. I don't want to play them. Like, Devin Booker's a star. Devin Booker, like, you're seeing Kobe Bryant come to life in Devin Booker in these playoffs. He gave it to the Lakers. He gave it to Denver. Whoever they see next, he's going to give it to them too. And here's the thing. Barzal, I said this when I saw him through 2 periods. I was like, you got your next star, bro. Don't worry about it.
And then we watched that game against Toronto that a few months after JT left and he scored a hat trick in Toronto. It was like, all right.
And I said, this he got something. And you saw him for 2 periods and you figured that. I'm like, kid got it. Kid got it.
And I knew it, but the fact that you only watched 2 periods and you're like, yeah, he's, Aussie baby.
No, so I'm just saying, like, revel in the moment, enjoy the moment. And here's the other thing too. This is what sports is. Let's open this conversation up a little more. I know we were talking about the Islanders, but I want to just open it up to this. It's good when the no-name teams that are not usually in there are in there now.
Yes.
It's good to see Milwaukee have a chance to win the championship. It's good to see Phoenix have a chance to win the championship. It's good to see the Islanders have a chance to win the championship. Utah have a chance to win the championship. Now, Lord knows I love me some Donovan Mitchell, but the way Phoenix looks, brother, hey, Utah, I don't think you want that problemo over there. Like, I don't know if you want those issues over there. Now, like I said, I wanted to be the Clippers just because of my own personal, I'm petty. Me and Big Dog, we
oh yeah, we have our petty moments.
Yeah, I'm petty. So I kind of want to see the Clippers just like, damn, we gave that brother away, man. That sucks. And that's what sports is. Because you told me I was done. You told me I was a bum. Nah, I'm here, bro. Yeah, Donovan Mitchell was a stud. And
people, not as many people I noticed are picking the Lightning. More people, well, it's kind of a lot of people are still picking Tampa Bay, but more than last round, people are picking us. But I'm still like, people are still picking Tampa. All right, I'll remember that.
Good. You want to stay the underdog?
Yeah, I'm good with it.
Use that as fuel.
I love the underdog. So
what I told you, when everybody picked the Knicks against Atlanta, I was like, they lost. They lost. Because the Knicks have been the underdog.
And de Blasio calling out Trae Young, which...
Oh, God. Let's not get into that, all right?
I'm just bringing it. I don't mean to get into it, no. But
all right, it's a sore subject for me.
It was a factor. It was a factor.
Yeah, the moment he spoke, we didn't win a game for the rest of the series. Thanks, Mayor. You dope. By the way, fun fact about Donovan Mitchell, grew up in upstate New York, is a huge, huge Met fan. Like, watches every Met game.
Mets are doing solid, too. You'll talk about that more with Rick, I'm sure.
Tomorrow, yeah.
27 outs.
By the way,
they're in first place, too, I believe.
That the DeGrom injury is not serious.
Good. Oh, thank God.
Fingers crossed. I'm hoping that everything comes back.
Let's hope it's not serious.
Because that guy, I'm going to tell you right now, that guy, Jacob DeGrom, is a cheat code. He's a cheat code. I mean, I'm not getting in the box against that guy. Nah, fam. I take my 4Ks. I'm going back to the hey, Skip. My hamstring hurts. I'm out. I don't want none of those problems over there. Speaking of problems, and we touched on this at the top of the show briefly. Big Dog, I started to think about this, and you love this. You love like the storylines, and you always ask me, what do you think is going to happen if this team loses or that team loses? And I got to tell you, if the Clippers lose this series, the future of that organization looks really different because they gave, count it with me, 5 first-round picks for Paul George. 5. And if you don't get a championship out of giving them 5 first-round picks, and you're stuck with a max contract, and Kawhi turns around and goes, I think I want to go that way. That's not good. That's not good. You got egg all over the face. Egg is just all over the face. And here's the problem. Kawhi Leonard is not going to say this publicly. He's not going to kill anybody publicly. But I think if you give him truth serum and you tell him, do you think you made a mistake by recruiting Paul George? I think he turns around and tells you, well, hell yeah. I think if you give Kawhi truth serum, I think he stays in Toronto. Because I think the amount of pressure that he put on himself and the rest of the Clippers, including Paul George, to produce, that both being from LA, glowing up Clipper fans, that feels immense. That feels like, holy, if we fail now,
not good.
Hot damn, this ain't good. And it's only going to get worse because you can't trade Paul George. Nobody wants the contract as he ages. Kawhi's just going to leave you high and dry, flat, with nothing. Good luck. Good. I'm so fascinated to see how this off season turns out. And you're already hearing whispers with Dame and Portland, and he wants his own head coach. Now, here's an interesting little tidbit of information I got for you. Mike D'Antoni's going to interview for the Portland job. I think he interviewed today, actually, according to ESPN. He interviewed today. 2 names that have yet to interview that are going to interview for the job. You know one of them, Chauncey Billups, point guard for the Pistons, way back in the day when we were still young lads. And Becky Hammon, who used to play for the New York Liberty, would be the first female full-time head coach in the NBA.
That would be amazing.
She's interviewing for the Trailblazer job, and she's interviewing for the Orlando Magic job. So congrats to Becky Hammon, and I hope you get one because that would be really cool. And as far as I know, like Chauncey Billups is one of Damian Lillard's like favorites. Like he loves Chauncey. Him and Chauncey have a very good relationship. So I think there's a chance that Chauncey gets hired to appease Damian Lillard. Now, the whole Mike D'Antoni thing is interesting to me because it's like, look, didn't we just watch this movie with Chris Paul, James Harden, Houston? We just watched this entire movie. Like, the movie doesn't end well usually. And so when you realize, hey, man, D'Antoni doesn't get results in big games. Like, the guy just doesn't get results. So, and that's why I think it's kind of fascinating that Mike D'Antoni continues to get big looks. Like you tell me with hockey jobs, he sucks as a head coach. Why are you giving him opportunity? Like you say it with Tortorella all the time. Now, we think Tortorella is a complete jackwagon and don't believe he deserves the ability to coach in the NHL. But like D'Antoni hasn't proven anything. Why does he continue to get chance after chance? And I'm like, are you kidding me with this? You're giving him another shot.
Do that in every sport, football too, or baseball. It's just soccer.
Was the head coach of the Bengals for 100 years. Got 3 playoff appearances. 3. And they brought him back year after year. And I'm like, just like, that game. That makes sense. That makes sense. Now, finally, my last thing is I want to touch on this Luka Doncic thing a little bit because this is juicy. This is juicy from the standpoint that there are people in the front office that Luka doesn't get along with, namely one of Mark Cuban's analytical gurus. Now you're asking me, why is this important? It's important for 2 reasons. One, Luka Doncic is eligible for a Supermax this summer, which he will most likely sign because it's $200 million in guaranteed money. And he made All NBA. So he's going to sign the contract because the money's too good to pass up. That's first off. But the reason why this is important is because I don't think – oh, see, that's Mark Cuban calling me right now. Tell me. I don't think he stays long-term because of the dynamic in the front office. And the guy that I'm referring to is this guy was a gambler for many years, like professional gambler, became really close with Mark Cuban, and Cuban was like, oh, okay, we're going to bring you in. We're going to let you be our analytics guru. And he's been that, but here's the thing. He has also made it a point to alienate Doncic. Doncic doesn't have a good relationship. They don't get along. And I'm going to tell you, if you don't think this impacts Luka Doncic free agency, whenever that comes, or him leaving, you're sadly mistaken, because he's already looking at it going, you know what, I might have to break out and just do my own thing. And you know what, my head immediately goes, do I really want to trade for Damian Lillard when I got a chance at Luka in a year or 2?
Right.
I like the Dame, but don't know if I want to give up the sun, the moon, and the stars for a 31-year-old point guard who is not closer to the beginning of his career than the end. So just keep an eye on that in Dallas. Why is there always some drama in Dallas? Drama with the Cowboys and Jerry Jones.
Drama Saints.
Now there's drama with Luka Doncic and the Mavericks. I mean, damn. There's always drama with y'all. It should be as the world of Dallas turns, because every time you turn around, I want to know, this one wants a contract. This one ain't getting his money. This one ain't. Good Lord. Everything is bigger in Texas, huh? Including the egos. Well, damn. What do you got on the soccer front, man? Because I know you got a crap ton, and I want to give you time to get through it all.
Yeah, I won't go too long. But just with these first few 3, well, now it's the 4th day of the tournament today. Italy started off with a 3-0 win over Turkey. Dominating performance in Rome.
That's not fair, man. You guys are like on another level. It's just like, I mean, damn.
Yeah, Italy look really good. But it was just one game, but it was a good start.
I'm like, do I gotta get off the bus right here? Like, does this even have to happen? Like,
their next game is against the Swiss. That's going to be tough for Switzerland. They need at least a point to stay alive. They earned a 1-1 draw with Wales on Saturday. We spoke about the Denmark-Finland game, the Christian Eriksen situation. Belgium had a very, very good performance against Russia, 3-0. Romelu Lukaku, who plays his club soccer with Eriksen at Inter Milan. So that was emotional, and he did like a celebration in tribute to Eriksen. Like
I saw that.
Said like into the camera, like "Love you, Christian," like "Get well," or whatever, something along those lines. He said. Austria with a 3-1 win over North Macedonia. They get their first ever performance in a major tournament. They lose North Macedonia. Austria, though, gets their first ever win in a major tournament. So it's a lot of history being made. England.
That got to feel good for the countries that haven't been there before.
Oh, yeah.
Like, even if you don't win the thing, like, we actually got to win in the Euros.
Right, like, because for some of these countries, like, it is very rare because these tournaments have been around for years and years. And if it's your first time, like, they're just happy to be there. Like, and normally in a non-COVID year, like, there would be thousands upon thousands of whatever country it might be, and they'll go to that country and travel, and you'll just see like singing, dancing in the streets. They're drinking, or they're just happy to be there. England they needed that. Getting their revenge against Croatia, who eliminated them in the 2018 World Cup.
And you bet on them, so you're like, please win for me, yes.
England, Raheem Sterling, who scored the only goal in the game, actually grew up 500 yards away from Wembley Stadium. So, like, they showed it on the map, like, where he grew up and where the location is of Wembley and how close it is. So that was really cool for him to score for England. It wasn't a dominating performance, but hey, they got the job done against a good Croatia team. An instant classic yesterday, the Netherlands literally squeaking out at the very end, a 3-2 win in Amsterdam. They had a 2-0 lead, and you're thinking, all right, but the Dutch always make things interesting. They give up the 2-goal lead. Ukraine tie it up. One of the goals was absolutely beautiful. And then in the 85th minute, the Netherlands score, and they end up winning that game. And then today, Scotland playing at home lose 2-0 to the Czech Republic. I believe this was the Czech Republic's 7th straight major tournament appearance. And Scotland Friday afternoon against England, which it's the oldest rivalry in soccer, dating back to like the 1870s was the first time they ever played each other. I think 1872, I believe, was the first ever match between the two. And just with the history between the two countries, yeah, they don't like each other. That's for sure. So that's going to be even if you're not a soccer fan, it's going to be spicy, that game. Slovakia getting the win over Robert Lewandowski and Poland. So good on Slovakia. They get the upset, and Spain and Sweden tying. What's that? Say that again.
Say that name again, Robert who?
Lewandowski, who had like 45 goals this year for Bayern Munich in the Bundesliga. I mean, he's like,
damn,
crazy talented.
How many games in a Bundesliga season?
36. So 45 goals in 36 games.
Yo.
Literally, like, and Spain and Sweden tie 0-0 today.
I mean, double that guy. Damn.
He didn't score today. He didn't get the one goal that Poland scored.
It's early yet.
It is early.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. Tomorrow, Hungary and Portugal play, and then
And I'm getting hungry. Literally, don't do that.
and then the big game of the day, France and Germany.
Oh.
So the two previous World Cup winners, Germany in 2014 and France in 2018.
It is against the beer makers.
What's that?
So we got the croissant makers against the beer makers.
Exactly.
Who wins out?
It's gonna be interesting.
Wow. As soon as you started talking about Turkey and Swiss, man, I'm like, oh, here we go.
Turkey plays on Wednesday against Wales. Italy play the Swiss.
See, in Swiss, now you got me thinking about sausage and peppers, and you see this?
Denmark play Belgium. Netherlands play Austria. So some good games this week. Portugal and Germany on Saturday. Oh, that's yeah. Genqui. So yeah, the Euros. It's been fun so far, and it's heating up. And we'll have to see what happens. As of now, most of the stadiums have been holding like 25,000 people or 16,000. Hopefully in some countries they'll get more, but I'm not sure. And actually the Prime Minister of the UK, I don't know if you heard, announced that they're pushing back the date to, they were going to ease COVID restrictions in the UK, but now they're going to hold off on it. So, because I'm sure people are hoping for the England games down the road and Scotland, that there would be more fans. Excuse me. But not right now. But hey, it's just nice to see fans in the stadiums again, and for a tournament like this. So,
right.
So you're hungry now because I mentioned Hungary,
yeah,
and Switzerland and Belgium.
Turkey and Switzerland.
I just want chocolate now. Talking about Belgium and Switzerland.
Waffles. What are you doing, man?
With ice cream or the fruit, whipped creamage. Come on.
You know what? Oh man. But nah, this Euro Cup is gonna be entertaining. This guy got you covered. He's gonna do some stuff on his Facebook page and exclusively for the Euro. So stay tuned for that. We'll make an announcement. And I want to apologize briefly because I know we were supposed to do this yesterday, but my Wi-Fi decided to
act it up.
Difficult, so we couldn't do the show yesterday. I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe Monday. I don't know. We'll discuss this. I gotta talk.
Yay. We'll keep you guys posted, no doubt.
I mean, yeah, I gotta talk to the big man over here and see what he wants to do. But this was fun, man. And look, we're actually gonna wrap, and we're under an hour by 7 minutes.
And we did cover a lot, so
this was quick, efficient, painless, and you guys get to go have dinner. So with that said, have a good evening. Big Dog, okay? Talk to you in a bit. And everybody have a wonderful night.
Let's go Islanders.
Well, of course.